Hello and welcome to Crypto Novus. My name is Chris Brown and I am your host for those of you who are new to the channel. What I want to talk today about is Stellar Lumens. And the reason why is because when I took a look at the price charts today, Stellar has done an incredible job of skyrocketing 70% in just one day. So I think there are good things happening with this company. I think they're a good solid investment and I think they're worth talking about. So I want to do an introduction to you for those of you who do not know who Stellar is. So Stellar is basically an open source network for currency and payment transmission. They were basically established back in 2015. Stellar makes it possible to create and send and trade digital representations of all forms of money. So what is Stellar good for? Since 2015, basically, Stellar has processed more than 450 million operations made by over 4 million individual accounts. From the beginning, Stellar had been focused on one thing, and that was to be what they call cryptocurrency adjacent. And what that essentially means, without getting into all the technicalities, is they didn't want to try to change the existing financial system. They wanted to bring technology alongside of it and enhance what they were doing in the banking system for those that were not already banked. Basically, what Stellar has is they have what they call the lumens. And basically, that is the Stellar network has a native digital currency, and that's called the lumen. And that's required in all small amounts for initializing accounts and making transactions. So it's the payment system for how you transfer money from point A to point B. Now, what I came across, or how I came across Stellar, was through remittances. As I was looking into XRP and trying to understand what they were trying to do for the central banking industry, Stellar was trying to do for those that are non-banked. And let's kind of go into it for a second. Basically, each year, about $500 billion worth of value is transferred across borders through what's called remittances. And essentially what a remittance is if you're trying to send money to your family member that lives in another country, that's basically called a remittance. And most of those payments are done in approximately about $200 to $300 in terms of value. And the cost for that can run anywhere from 7 to 8%. And the sending costs can be as high as 15%. So bottom line is the people that can least afford to send the money are being charged at a very high rate. So what Stellar wanted to do is they wanted to come alongside them and create a system to where they could still accomplish what they needed to accomplish, but for a lot less money. And it was a very smart move on their part. It's a volume game because when you look into that customer base and you try to look at how many people there are in that customer base, the number is huge. So it says high fees to use traditional money transfer operators like MoneyGram are often paid by those who can afford it the least. And that is what's called the unbanked adults. And that group of people is about 1.7 billion people. So that's a lot of people. It's a lot of customers that if Stellar is able to pull off what they're wanting to pull off, again, with their partners, they will be able to do so and serve a large customer base. And that is essentially their goal. And so when you look at how Stellar does what they do, and this is how they help, what Stellar is looking for are businesses using Stellar can connect directly to the network by fully licensed fiat acceptance and distribution partners called anchors. And we'll look into what they've been able to do with anchors in the last year. So here's what an anchor is. Anchors are licensed and regulated financial institutions, money service businesses, or fintech companies that provide fiat on-off ramps to the anchor country's banking system. Stellar is also an ecosystem where projects can be built on the system. And we'll take a look at one of those as we get deeper into this discussion. But what first I want to just to take a look at, some of the case studies that they have. Satoshi Pay, which is one company that they've invested in the last year. And then this is their partners. Basically they've got tons of partners around the world that they work with. These are wallets, Fireblocks, Ledger Nano, Stellar X. They've got some non-fiat users, which is Nail BTC. They've got, of course, fiat users, which is like StableX. Here are some of the tools that they use: Stellar Guard, Satoshi Pay, Stellar Expert, and then there's some service providers as well. The Stellar Development Foundation did a 2020 report, and there are some very interesting and very optimistic and very positive results that they have accomplished in the last year. Quickly, just looking at the network growth itself. Total assets have increased by 38.3%. Total payments have increased by 17.3%. And it's up from 158 million to 185 million. You've got total operations processed has been up 70%. This is an impressive number. And total accounts have increased 3%. So what that really tells me is that those that have already been using Stellar, they have become more confident and more secure with the product and are using it more often. And that speaks to me in terms of longevity and stability in the future. Total assets for the company have gone up 61.2%. Asset transaction volume has 21x'd in the last year. This is the anchors I was telling you about. So basically, in 2019, they had 12 anchors located around the world. Now they've almost doubled that. They're up to 20 anchors around the world, which you can see United States and Canada, and Africa being the majority. There's a few in South America, a few in in Western Europe, and then just a couple in Asia. This is exciting. So the Stellar Development Foundation also brought new participants into the ecosystem through what they have, what's called the Enterprise Fund, which is a part of an investment arm of Stellar. And what they did is basically the Enterprise Fund invested $9.2 million in 2020 into 4 companies: DSTOQ, Satoshi Pay, Abra, and Settle Network. Most recently and most exciting for Stellar has been this development with the Ukraine. So basically, the Ukraine signs an agreement with Stellar Development Foundation to help them build a central bank digital currency. So as we look at this, essentially, this happened just Monday. So basically, the Stellar Development Foundation will help the Ukraine build infrastructure for a modern virtual asset market to enhance Ukraine's status as an innovative digital country in the financial market in Eastern Europe. Essentially, what they're going to help them do is develop their own cryptocurrency. The Stellar Development Foundation will start this activity in 2021. Another exciting project that I stumbled upon, I'm not sure how much you guys know about, and Acoin is a coin in Africa, and it was founded by Akon, I think is how you pronounce his name, who's a rapper. He is basically an entertainer, but he's now moved more into business, and he has some beautiful plans for a $6 billion city in Senegal, Africa. But a part of that whole development project is the development of his own cryptocurrency. I call it Acoin, is a cryptocurrency powered by a blockchain-based ecosystem, which is built basically on Stellar. And what he's trying to do is exactly what Stellar is intended to do, is help those people with remittances. And he's partnered with Stellar to help develop this in eastern part of Africa. So let's take a look at Stellar's price. And this is what it did today. And it was at 38, almost 39 cents. And while I was doing this video, it has actually spiked up to 41 cents and is currently at 37 cents. It dipped down earlier today around 26 cents. It has already increased more than a dime in a matter of less than 12 hours. So Stellar is, wow, this is really impressive. And Bitcoin has come down. Bitcoin was at 37,000. It's come down a little bit under 37,000, and Stellar has gone up. Wow, so let's take a look at this. Stellar is ranked number 9. It's within the top 10, and it is basically a market cap presently about $7.9 billion. Circulation supply is 50 billion. Well, that's the maximum supply. Circulation supply is a little bit less than half of that. It's sitting at 21.9 billion. Its all-time high was around 90 cents. So I've seen 92, and then I've seen this 80. CoinGecko is marking this at 87 cents. The coin itself in the last year has gone up basically 637% or 63x. boy, it would have been nice if you would have got this coin at 3 cents. You would have done extremely well. Stellar has, I think, a very, very bright future. It's going to be interesting to see how it holds the ninth position in terms of the top 10. But it's definitely a very solid and good investment. And I'm going to do another video on seeing what the projected price could be for Stellar next year at the peak of the bull run, because right now its market dominance is at 0.78, and it'll be interesting to see how far it will go above its 87 cents, which I think it'll definitely surpass its original all-time high. So I hope that was kind of short and informative to you. I hope it introduced you to a coin that you may not know about, and if you already know about it, hopefully it introduces you to the fact that it went up over 70% and still continues to climb. It's right now pushing 40. So this is Chris Brown. I am with Crypto Novos, where newbies become masters. I'll see you in the next video.